Have you heard the news? The new news that U.S. just cracked down on birth tourism companies. On August 6th, which was yesterday, the president signed into law executive orders targeting this.
Well, and we've already gotten messages asking, does this mean that pregnant women can't travel to the United States anymore? Could someone lose their visa just because they're pregnant because they're having a baby? It seems crazy. Is that what that means?
Yeah, it seems a little crazy, but here's a short answer. No. There's a lot of fear and misinformation out there right now. So today we're breaking down exactly what changed, what didn't happen, and what your family needs to know before you travel.
Always make sure you know the latest laws before you travel. That's absolutely essential. Well, we're immigration attorney, Carlene and Ed, and we love being here, giving you information. So let's get into it, okay? So first of all, this is odd. What is birth tourism? What even is
Okay,
that?
so let's just talk about it. Okay, so let's start with a few things. It's when someone travels to the U.S. primarily so their baby is born here, and it's not new. But what's changed is that some companies have turned it into a business. So they advertise, if you can believe this, full packages, housing, transportation, medical appointments, and even help getting through the visa interview.
That's just ridiculous. And that's really the piece that got the government's attention, right? It got my attention. So no, pregnancy itself is not the problem, but the industry around it is what's causing the problems.
Right, and so this is a distinction that people are missing.
So why is the government taking action? Why now? What's actually driving this?
Well, the government position is that some of these companies coach clients to hide the true purpose of their trip. So on the visa application, for example, or when they're talking to an officer at the port of entry, like at the airport. So if there's fraud, if there's misrepresentation involved, immigration authorities can deny the visa or take further action against the person.
So to be clear, it's not about punishing pregnancy, but it's about lying on a federal application. Never lie on a federal application, ever. Driver's license, Social Security, never, ever, ever.
Right. So then, being pregnant is not a problem. It's lying about why you're traveling is a problem.
Sure. Yeah.
So does this mean that pregnant women can't visit the U.S.?
No, 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 no. So let's answer that question directly. Can pregnant women still travel here to the United States?
Yes. So pregnancy alone is not illegal and is not a reason to deny entry. Women travel here every day for vacation, to see family, for work, and sometimes even for medical care. So each case is evaluated on its own facts. So an officer is looking at your stated purpose and whether your trip is consistent with that, whatever you're telling them.
Right, that's right. So the takeaway here is that, you can be pregnant and travel, of course, but you have to be honest about why you're traveling.
Exactly. So what could create problems? So, right, here's why where people get themselves into trouble. A few things to watch out for. Giving false information on a visa application, that you should never do that. Whether for tourism, whether for student visa, whether for work visa, whether for permanent residence, that should never be.
Sure.
Okay? Hiding the purpose of your trip is also not good. So a lot of times people say that they're going to visit the United States for travel and then they end up doing something else. And you should never use a company that scripts what to tell an immigration officer. So, and never, never, never submit false or misleading documents.
And watch out for these companies. I mean, these are not companies you want to be associated with. So basically, anything that involves coaching or concealment is the red flag. It's not the travel itself.
Right. So if a company is telling you what to say instead of helping you present your real situation truthfully, that's a big, big, big warning sign.
So birthright citizenship, what's actually changed? Well, now let's talk about birthright citizenship, because these two topics are getting mixed up online. There's a lot of confusion. We're going to tell it to you straight.
So they're related, but it's not the same thing. Current law is that a child born in the U.S. soil acquires U.S. citizenship at birth. That hasn't changed. In fact, the Supreme Court reaffirmed this in June.
Okay, so the president signed new executive orders on August 6th, trying to narrow this down again. One targeting birth tourism specifically, and another aimed at narrowing categories, like, for example, children of foreign government officials or tourist group members.
the terrorist group members, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
excuse me,
Yeah.
terrorist group.
Yeah. So, right, and neither of these orders has taken effect as yet, and legal challenges, of course, are expected. So this is genuinely, let's watch and see what happens, okay? We're not going to speculate on outcomes. We'll keep you up to date as it develops.
That's right. Absolutely. So the bottom line is, what should families actually do today? What should they do?
Well, it's important to be truthful throughout the immigration process.
Always, always.
Yes, and from your visa application, at the embassy to the airport, and know and be able to clearly state the real purpose of your trip. And if you're traveling for medical reasons, make sure you bring the documentation to
Yeah,
support
the
it.
prescriptions have prescriptions. Don't just show up with a ton of medicine and you don't have any prescriptions to back that up.
Right.
That's the problem.
And the doctor's medical record. So if you have questions about your specific situation, please talk to an attorney before you do something.
Yes. Before you travel, absolutely. So, talking to someone who knows what they're talking about is going to help you so much.
Yeah.
It's better to find out in our office, in an office, than to find out when you have ICE looking at you and they're asking you hard questions that you can't answer. So there's been a lot of misinformation about this on social media right now. Don't make travel or visa decisions based on rumors or viral posts. And I want to say though that a lot of the attorneys out there, immigration attorneys, they work real hard to get to where they are. They're smart people, and they'll help you. They'll give you good advice. Sometimes you go into some of these companies, and their purpose is to sell you a script. Make sure you tell the officer this, and make sure you do that. That's fake. Don't do that. Stay away from those companies.
Right. And if this was helpful, please hit subscribe, like the video, share it with someone who needs it. And we'll always be trying here to help you. We're going to take some questions later on. But, remember that if you can share this with someone, if it can help someone, please do so.
Sure. Please subscribe. It lets us know that this is useful to you. And that's really what it's all about.
All right. So I have some questions here on Instagram. And so we're going to try to answer your questions. Okay. And so people are saying, hey, how are you doing? So how are you doing? Tell us how you're doing. And if you can, could you let us know where you are, where you're from. I love to hear where you're from. We would love to know, if you're here in the U.S., if you're joining us from overseas, and even if you're here in the U.S., what country, where are you from? Where were you born? We would love to hear. All right. So here's a question that we have here. It says, if I'm Iranian nationality and there's a pending I-751 and it's in process, is it still frozen? So remember now that there are 75 countries, and on 39 they've kind of softened up a little bit. But we have quite a few countries that are, it's not that they're never going to approve applications for these countries. That's not what's going on. There's a little bit of a pause. The government has paused it a little bit, and I really believe that this will lift at some point. But right now there's just a pause. The government is doing a little bit more investigation. They're checking out to make sure that people are coming here for the right reasons, like what we're talking about. Who would think that people are coming here on a tourist visa and then to travel, but they're being coached by a company to say different things to the officer. So that's kind of what the government is trying to avoid. All right. So I believe that eventually things will work out, and there is a pause in certain countries. So you have to wait. If you have a 751 pending, you remember that you have that receipt in the mail that comes, and it says that it's an extension of your conditional residence, and you can travel with that. Of course, I'm not telling you to travel. I'm not telling anybody to travel right now. I think you should hold off. Okay. So yes, it's still good. It's still on hold to answer your question, but hang in there. It's going to be okay. So Urstul, your U.S. truly, Masen said, I'm doing good. All right. I'm so happy that you're doing good. All right. So if you have any questions, send them over to us. I know that we're still receiving a lot of questions from you guys. If you have any questions regarding citizenship. If you're here listening to us and you applied for your citizenship, we can help you. And also, if you have questions on your visa, whatever type of visa is going, it's good. So you said your green card expired, but yes, it's the green card. If you applied for a 751, you automatically have extension. Now let's see if we have any. Today we are hopefully our YouTube friends can hear us today, because yesterday you weren't able to hear us, and we had some technical problems. So if our YouTube friends are listening to us, if you're here, you joined with us, and you want to ask us some questions, we're here to help you. Okay.
I think I should be honest, Sonny, about this, Sonny.
Uh-huh.
That was my fault. I forgot to plug in the audio. It was entirely my fault. And Carlene's very unhappy with me because I unplugged it and forgot to replug it in. So just want to confess that to you. Sorry, guys.
Mm-hmm. You said you already posted a question. Okay, all right. So if that's the same question that you had about the I-751, that's okay. I answered it. Yes, you have an extension with the automatic extension with the I-751. You can work. You can travel. I'm not recommending that you travel, but you're legal. Okay, with the 751. And it's not just your country. I think every single I-751 probably that we have in the office from all over the world, from different countries, that it's taken a long time to process the legal residence. So don't be stressed about it. It happens. All right. So if you have any more questions, yes, you can work with an extension. You can work with that paper that you have, the one that says, I think most of them say now you have 48 months. Is that a paper you have? If that's a paper you have, remember, yes, you can work. You can work with that, okay?
And if you know anyone that has problems and you know the problem, you could type it in. We do family petitions and citizenship applications and court work a lot. That's my area, is court work. Do a lot of court stuff.
Yeah.
Asylum applications. You could ask, and we'll give you our best advice.
Okay, so you said here that the 5 years is almost done with the green card, and can I apply for citizenship? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So here's what's going to happen. You can apply for your citizenship. When you apply for your citizenship, the officer will more than likely review your resident application, and will also conduct a resident interview, a legal permanent resident interview, and a citizenship interview. That's what's been happening here. So a lot of times we will attend an interview and citizenship interview with someone, and the officer says, okay, we didn't get a chance to process your I-751. We're going to process it today, and they do an interview of the I-751 and the N-400 interview. So yes, so you can apply. You can apply. For sure you can apply, okay? All right. So I hope I answered your question. So you said, please answer. So I hope I answered the question for you. Yes. So it's you can apply for your citizenship. And that's good news. That's good news for you. All right. So there's a lot of questions that came through to the office. I know that a lot of people are still waiting for their OPT. Okay, here's another question. It says, can you have both the I-751 and asylum case, or is it better to close the asylum? Yes. You should close the asylum. If you already have the I-751 pending, that means you went through the first process of the I-130, you got approved, and now your legal residence was approved, and now you have your I-751 pending. Yeah, you should close the asylum case now, because at some point it's going to be a problem, because the officer could say, well, you have the asylum case pending, we can't grant your residence. So now that you're so long in the process of I-751, you should go ahead and close the asylum case.
That's another good news.
Yes, that's good news. All good news for you today.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that's been good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Yes. For those of you who told me that you still have your OPT pending, and it's been months and months and months and months, and that you haven't heard anything, remember what I keep telling you, that you need to call USCIS, you need to email, have your congressperson do it, have your job do it, have your ombudsman do it as well. All right, here we have a question here from YouTube. It says, My H4 EAD standalone has been pending since 12 months. And now it's taken so long to get approved. Okay, so I'm assuming then that your spouse already has the H1 and everything is okay, and your case is pending. It's just pending on its own. Okay, did you call USCIS? Did you email USCIS? So if you have, then keep on doing it. I have a cases like these in the office that they're pending. So the main person in the family got approved, even if you know E2s, L1s, the main person got approved, and then the spouse or the children are still pending. And 12 months seems like a long time, but we have cases like that nowadays. It's crazy the way things are taking a long time. If you believe that you need to update anything at all in your application, please do so. Remember, we talked about this yesterday, that USCIS is no longer going to be sending requests for evidence, requests for additional evidence, or the request for evidence gives you some kind of indication that they're working on your case, but they need some extra evidence. So immigration, is no longer going to do that.
Sure.
They're no longer going to send NOIDs. So if you believe that you can update it in some way, think about the application that you submitted, if you have a copy of it, and send in that update as quickly as possible.
Do it now.
Yeah, do it now and don't wait.
Don't wait.
Okay,
you
here
got a warning letter.
It says here, what if my I-751 gets denied because I filled it out alone? I was divorced under 2 years. Asylum is to back it up. Do I keep it open or still close it? That's better. Well, that's going to depend a lot on what you put in your application. When you filed your I-751 application, what documentation did you send with that application? Are you sure that you sent documentation with proving that it was a valid marriage, proving that you were together? Did you submit it? Because remember now, immigration might not send you RFE requesting additional documentation to prove that your marriage was valid. So it all depends. You have to think about, if you have a copy of your package of the I-751, maybe you should go where are you from? What state? Where do you live? Maybe you should contact an attorney in your area to review that I-751 package. And if anything is lacking, to go ahead and supplement that package, because if you don't, it may get denied.
Supplement it now.
Supplement it now. And if you're saying if you want the asylum to be there as a backup, do I keep it open? Or, well, now that you're telling me that you did this alone, you're telling me that you were divorced under 2 years, that means that you filed I-751 as a divorced person, right? So now that you're telling me that, maybe you should hold off on the asylum application. But have an attorney in your area review the I-751 package, review the asylum application to make a decision. Because right now, I'm not going to tell you to withdraw anything because we haven't seen the package. I said that before because I thought the I-71 was done, wasn't done. When it's done with a divorce, you have to be a little bit more careful. All right, here's another question. Can I re-enter the USA with day 1 CPT, university, PhD, admit, and valid I-20? What are the possible questions may I face at immigration port of entry? Listen, if you don't need to travel, don't travel, okay? I'm not recommending that you guys travel. I think it's way too dangerous for you to travel right now. And I know that you have everything in order. It looks to me that you got some approval. You have already been admitted to the PhD program. You have a valid I-20. I'm seeing all of that here. Listen, if you don't need to travel, I'm going to say don't travel. All right, unless you send me some information on why, unless it's in a medical emergency, I really don't recommend that you travel. Okay, because the officer is going to ask you all kinds of questions at the airport, right? Isn't that what we?
Yeah, I'm saying, but ICE doesn't really care about a lot of things. If you're on their list, you're on the list, and you're going with them. We don't want that. If you don't have to travel, stay home. I would stay home as much as possible right now. It's a very hot time, very hot time. People are getting picked up, and they have no reason to be picked up. They're completely legal in every way, and there's a lot of that going on. So please don't, because it's once you get caught in that cycle of detention, and I know, we know, we've done it for so many years. You get stuck. That's not a pleasant place to be. It's very hard to get out of there. And it's easier to get out of criminal court than it is to get out of immigration detention.
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
It's very difficult.
I mean, we have to, the things that we do, it's another discussion, but it's an incredible amount of work, and it doesn't always work. So
what did you hear about a nurse?
Oh, goodness.
Who got picked up?
So this is a nurse who is an emergency room. I love nurses and doctors and people that save other people's lives, and I have such respect for them. And this woman was an emergency room, still is an emergency room nurse, and she was born in the United States. She's been a nurse, and but she's Latin, and they must have profiled her. They must say, oh, here's a woman who looks like she's I don't know what nationality exactly, but she admitted that she was Latin, and they said, no, you're coming with us, and she was arrested. I mean, and harshly, and so I don't know where she is today, but you don't want to be in that position. They don't just take you and then next day you're out. It's not like that. You get stuck in the system for a long time. I have a million stories. Obviously, what's the point? The fact is that please don't travel.
Yeah, we're only telling this. We're not trying to scare you or put terror in the community. We're just saying that if you don't need to travel, just please don't travel, okay? And hi, Zori, I see you. How are you? Okay. All right. So here's another question. All right. So just to go back to the H4, the person who is asking us for the H4, it said you spoke to an officer, and the officer said the case is being progressing normally, and that the timeline jumped to 16 months. Yeah. Okay. If you spoke to an officer and the case is fine and everything seems to be okay, then hang in there. I know it's a long time. It's an unreasonable long time. But if you already spoke to the officer, then I feel good that that the case is being processed. All right. So here's another question that says I remember you. So you said you went back to India in September of 2025 for severe injuries, and right now you want to come back to the U.S. Okay. So if you are outside of the country, and if you have everything in order, remember what I told you, that you need to travel with your medical report, your reason for being out of the country, and if you have all your approvals, your I-20, everything is approved, then yes, you can travel and come back to the United States. Okay. And then I have another question that says, if I have an I-751 and in citizenship interview, and I'm not working, I'm in law school, and I'm being financially supported. So you're not working today. Okay, so so Melania, I'm guessing from your question, I'm trying to answer your question as best as I can because it's a little bit abbreviated, but you're saying that you have your I-751 and that you're going to apply for the citizenship. And in the citizenship interview, which is going to be an I-751 and an N-400 interview, if they ask you why you're not working, well, they probably will ask you why you're not working, but it's okay. It's okay if you can show that you said you're being financially supported by your best friend. Is that best friend or boyfriend? Okay, so in other words, you're not being a public charge. You're being supported by someone. You're in law school, you're being supported by someone. They can show that they're supporting you. They can show that I actually have a case which is very similar to yours in the office. And that person is doing a master's and she's being supported by her fiance. So yes, you can go ahead and you can tell them that the truth. I am not working right now and I'm being supported by my boyfriend, and and all my bills are being taken care of. I'm not a public charge. I'm not taking any money from the government. I'm not seeking any help. I'm not taking Medicaid. If that's the case, then you're good. You should be okay. So that's very interesting. Good. And congratulations that you're in law school. I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. So you'll be a lawyer someday, and so that's great. I'm happy about that. All right, so we're so happy that you could join us today. We're always happy to talk to you. We're happy that you trust us to give us your questions. We will join you again tomorrow and come with more questions. And we're gonna log off for now. And it's Friday night, and I'm sure a lot of you maybe have plans. Maybe you're gonna relax. Maybe you're gonna have dinner. But we're always happy that you join us. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you all.
God bless you.